again. I'm your guide Aditi and I'm going to teach you about formatting your research paper using MLA 8, which is a handbook for research paper writing in India and is often used if you're not using APA or other sources. Today I'm going to tell you about how to format your research paper, keeping in mind the 9 basic requirements for a research writing. Number 1. Margins. Number 2. Text formatting. Number 3. Heading and title. Number 4. Page number. Number 5. Tables and illustrations. Number 6. Paper and printing. Number 7. Corrections and insertion. Number 8. Binding, which is also equally important. And number 9. The modern age phenomena, electronic submission. Okay, so we have to keep in mind what is our requirement if we are required to use MLA format or APA format. Today I am going to talk just about MLA 8 format, which is the latest edition of MLA handbook. But keep in mind, if your instructor has specific requirements for the format of a research paper, check them before preparing your final draft. The recommendations presented in this chapter are like the most common ones. They assume that you will prepare your paper using a word processor. When you submit your paper, be sure to keep a printout of it as well as electronic copies in at least 2 places. Okay, so let's now begin with how to format our paper using margins. Keep in mind, except for the page number, leave margins of 1 inch on top and bottom and on both sides of the text. Although you can use more than 8.5 by 11 inch of paper, but make sure you only type on 6.5 by 9 inches. Make sure to indent the first word of each paragraph 1/2 inch from the left margin. Indent set of quotations 1 inch from the left margin. Okay, now let's move on to text formatting. So always choose an easy readable typeface. Mostly we use Times New Roman so that the regular type style contrasts clearly with the italics. Now set it to 12-point standard size. Do not justify the lines of the text. Justify is one of the tools in your Microsoft Word if you are using a computer. It might not be available on your mobiles. Also, make sure that you turn off your word processor's automatic hyphenation feature. Set your word processor to double space the entire research paper, including quotations, notes, and list of work cited. Leave 1 space after a period or other concluding punctuation marks unless your instructor prefers 2 spaces. I hope this is clear to you, so let's move on to heading and titles. A research paper does not need a title page. Instead, beginning 1 inch from the top of the first page and flush with the left margin. Type your name, your instructor's name, the course number, the date on a separate line. Double spacing between the 2 lines. Double space again and center the title. Double space also between the lines and the title. And double space between the title and the first line of the text. Make sure you do not italicize or underline your title. Put it in a quotation mark or boldface, or type it in all capital letters. Make sure you do not use a period after your title or after any heading in the paper. Now let's discuss how to number your pages. Number all pages consecutively throughout the research paper in the upper right hand corner, 1/2 inch from the top and flush with the right margin. Type your last name before the page number. Automatic numbering by your word processor will save you time. A word processor allows you to create a running head that consists of your last name followed by a space and the page number. Do not use the abbreviation P. before a page number. Do not add a period, a hyphen, or any other mark or symbol. The word processor may automatically insert your running head on every page of your paper if you do not specify otherwise. Okay, so in this case, make sure that your teacher does not prefer to not number the first page. Some teachers don't like numbering the first page, so make sure your teacher is okay with numbering your first page. Let's move on to tables and illustrations. Table and illustration should be placed as close as possible to the parts of text to which they relate. A table is usually labeled table with T capital, given an Arabic numeral and titled. Type both label and title flush left on separate lines above the table and capitalize them as titles. Give the source of the table and any notes immediately below the table in a caption. To avoid confusion between two notes, notes to the text and notes to the table, designate note to the table with lowercase letters rather than with numerals. Double space throughout using dividing lines as needed. In a different case, any other type of illustrative visual material, for example, a photograph, a map, line drawing, graph, or a chart, should be labeled figure, usually abbreviated as FIG with F capital and full stop. If the caption of a table or illustration provides complete information about the source and the source is not cited in the text, no entry for the source in the works cited list is necessary. Musical illustrations are labeled example, usually abbreviated as EX, full stop, and E capital. Now let's move on to our sixth part, which is important for writing a research paper, is paper and printing. So, firstly use only white paper. It should be 8.5 by 11 inches and of a good quality. Most instructors prefer papers printed on a single side, but some instructors encourage printing on both sides, maybe to save paper, which is a very thoughtful idea, so do accordingly. Let's discuss corrections and insertions. Proofreading is very important. Correct your research paper carefully before submitting it. If your instructor permits brief corrections on the printout, write them neatly and legibly, directly above the lines, using carets. Make sure you do not use the margins or write a change below the line it affects. If corrections on any page are numerous and substantial, revise your file and reprint the page. Now let's talk about binding. Pages of your research paper may get misplaced or lost if they are left unattached or merely folded down at a corner. Although a plastic folder or some other kind of binder may seem an attractive finishing touch, most instructors find such devices as nuisance. Many of them prefer the paper to be secured with a simple paper or binder clip, which can be easily removed and restored, so to make reading and commenting on students' work very easy. Lastly, we should know somewhat about electronic submissions. There are at present no commonly accepted standards for the electronic submission of research paper. If you are asked to submit your paper electronically because it is a time of pandemic and anything can happen, we are going to schools, colleges, we are attending everything from seminar to social functions online. So it is important and it is possibility that we can submit online. So if you are asked to submit your paper electronically, obtain from your teacher guidelines for formatting, mode of submission, by email or by website, and so forth, and follow them closely. To facilitate discussion of your work, you should incorporate references, markers in your paper if it does not include page number, paragraph, or sometime number in electronic publications. If you use this system, place the appropriate number in a square bracket and followed by a space at the beginning of each paragraph. This was all about my discussion for formatting your research paper. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I hope it was very instructive. I hope it was able to solve some purpose of yours. Thank you all. Please don't forget to share, like and subscribe my videos and my channel, and please inspire me to make more such videos for you. Thank you and have a good day. Happy learning!